All right. Padres Collective, Jon Schaeffer, Matt Devine, Kevin Acee, please subscribe. We've got year-round content for you. We should hit 1,000 subscribers with your help tonight. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Smash the like button for us. Now, Kevin, you did some reporting on Nick Pivetta. Now, the good news is it appears as if he will throw later this week. Anytime I hear mild arm fatigue, it always kind of starts there. It never starts as, hey, this pitcher's being shut down for the next 5 years. It always starts as something minor and progresses from there. So talk Padres fans off the ledge, so to speak, if they are concerned about Nick Pivetta, his prognosis for opening day, or even just replicating what he did. He had this ridiculous year. And the expectation, I think, from Padres fans is he's going to be able to follow suit and replicate that. Easier said than done. Why is he being pushed back? What's he dealing with? And is the expectation he will be ready for 2.5 weeks from now?
The expectation is that he will, though I do understand, absolutely. First off, arm fatigue. I also understand there have been times where the Padres have said it wasn't something and it turned out to be something. I think what happens is that we forget all the abundance of times where they said it wasn't anything and it turned out to not be anything. We remember the times that it was. Look, he's supposed to pitch on Friday. It could be Thursday, but I guess Friday. That gives him plenty of time in that he was up to 3 innings. I'd expect him to go 3 this time, 4 next time, 5 next time. But if he does get 3 more starts while he's here, that means he's not the opening day starter anymore because the time doesn't work out. So, and I don't think the time works out for him to only get 2 starts either. Like make him go 6 days between one and 7 days against another, and then he's ready to pitch on Thursday the 26th against Terry Skubal. I don't think that works out either. I think this setback probably keeps Nick Pivetta from being the opening day starter, but he's ready for proverbial opening day is the thing.
Yeah, opening day, obviously you would love him to get the opportunity for a pitcher that's such an amazing, reward, right? You had such a great year. I'm looking at his stats right now. 181 innings, 2.87 ERA, started 31 games. Without Nick Pivetta, that team doesn't make the playoffs. He was awesome. Yeah. I would put him as most likely probably the MVP of last season. There might be a few others. Thought Adrian Morejon was great last year. There was a couple guys that kind of came out and were really, really great. But if you were to give me a 5.3 starting, 5.3 WAR out of a guy that we signed late February that no one really knew much about, that was an MVP type season for Nick Pivetta. I think, and this is coming from Mr. Optimism, it's a little bit delusional to think he's going to replicate that this year. If he gives a 2.87 ERA season with another 180 innings pitched, he's going to get so much money. And guess what? Probably not from the Padres. And I will wish Nick Pivetta nothing but the best. That's the thing as a fan. Hey, if you do what you need to do and you play well, same with Michael King. If he would have left last year, I would have been like, it's kind of a bummer he didn't have a great 2025, but he was so awesome in 2024 that he kind of made up for that Soto debacle trade where everything, him coming back was awesome. So I would have had no beef. I do have beef with Dylan Cease, but that's another story for another day. And that's more just being a fan. Nick Pivetta, as much as I'd love him to get the opening day start, I just need that guy to give us some innings this year, right? And if for whatever reason he can't start the season, in March, but he is ready to go second week of April and he needs to start on the IL for whatever reason and slow down, we got some arms. Like, I need this guy to be healthy when we hopefully make the playoffs in October and give us a good start, because he's a guy who can do that. On this rotation right now, there's some guys who are great, filler, innings eaters, right? The Walker Buehlers, the German Marquez, if they're healthy. I don't want to see German Marquez starting game 3 of a wild card series. So we need Nick Pivetta to be healthy when it matters. It is kind of my long-winded.
But you got to get to when it matters.
Exactly.
So this is the take on the issue with this, and I agree with the point overall. But the issue with this is, I hear from everyone, we need Michael King when it matters. We need Joe Musgrove. Be careful with Joe Musgrove because you're going to need him later in the year. Yeah, Nick Pivetta, he's a workhorse. You don't need him early. You need him late. The issue is, this is why Fangraphs says the Padres projected to win 79 games. They have no ability to get through the season with Nick Pivetta missing time, or Michael King being, being cautious with Michael King, and Joe Musgrove being, you're going to need these guys to perform. Maybe not from day one, to your point. Maybe Randy Vasquez improved himself last year. There's reasons to believe he does. But beyond that, it's very up in the air. I mean, the Walker Buehlers, the Herman Marquezes, the JP Sears, the Matt Waldrons, whatever else is in there. I mean, this is like the major leagues. Like that's very exposing to have, 2 or 3 or 4 of those in your rotation. So I agree. You want Pivetta to be right. And if it takes a week, it takes a week. If it takes a month, it takes a month. There's nothing you can do. But I mean, at some point, you're going to need your workhorses to be your workhorses. And it's like, it's hard to envision the Padres having the year they want to have if you're like, well, Pivetta and King and Musgrove, it just hasn't been right. But hopefully at some point, it'll be right.
Yeah, Matt, you said something about Pivetta and maybe not performing at a certain level or not reaching a number of innings. And it made me think about the kind of the kinetic chain there, because of exactly what you said, John. Like, where do they fill in? Who is the guy that you can count on? We're talking about their top 3 as if they're all set. And like, I think all 3, like, no chance I'm betting against Nick Pivetta, who like is the most competitive person I've seen, and I've been covering professional sports for 30 years. Like, this guy has an opt-out next year. Like, not to say that he doesn't want to win for his boys and he doesn't want to win for the Padres, but this guy's got an opt-out for next year. I'm not betting against Nick Pivetta having a really good season, right? I'm not betting against Joe Musgrove. I've watched that guy pitch through a lot and pitch well, and when he's healthy, pitch super well. And I'm not betting against Michael King, another guy who did everything he could last year, and in 2024 did more than any of us could have imagined. But none of them are sure things, man. Nick Pivetta's been a good pitcher for a long time. There's a reason, he never had lower than a 4.04 ERA his first 8 seasons, but the Red Sox gave him a qualifying offer. Like, this is a good pitcher, but last year he limited the damage. He wants to do it more this year. Last year he made some subtle tweaks, him and Ruben. Mostly Ruben leaves Nick Pivetta alone. Nick Pivetta is a really good pitcher, but I absolutely agree with you. Like, to say 287, 181 innings again, that's a lot. Then you go, oh, well, what if he doesn't? Well, then that means Michael King does need to throw 150 up from 72. And Joe Musgrove does need to throw 150 up from 0. And Randy Vasquez does need to get to 150. And Griffin Canning, who, by the way, like, and I'm not just saying this because he's your boy, it is really hard to excite me anymore watching a bullpen or even a sim game or a live BP, right? That guy threw a bullpen aside on the field. He likes to do that. He was filthy. Like, Griffin Canning is a good pitcher. And don't forget that if he were healthy, he'd be in the rotation, right? So, like, they do have that coming.